Estás escuchando De Loco Podcast.
Todos andan en puro vacaciones, bro.
That's where I was last month. I took a Disney cruise.
Oh,
with
did
the
you?
Family.
How did that go?
It was good, but it was also the first time I left my business by itself.
Oh,
for like
man.
a week, and I didn't have internet service, and I was like, "Ay, wait." And then as soon as I got signal, I checked my phone, I checked my TikTok and my Instagram. My wife's like, "Can you just stop for like a day?" And I'm like,
Yeah.
"I am when we're at sea."
Well, we're at sea, dude. What do you have as a business? Like, what's your? I mean, I know you work hand in hand, right, with the Brahmas. I don't know. We'll get into that, but
Yeah.
I mean, what is it that you?
So I primarily, I guess you could call it like influencer marketing. but
Okay.
It's mainly making ads for companies on TikTok using videos. So I make my own videos for them. I come up with like, they give me basically like a general brief.
Okay.
And then I go and make an ad based off of that using my creative. But the nice part is that I don't have to post it on my personal stuff. They post it on their pages.
So you make it for them, and then
Yeah.
they'll post it. Like, you don't have to put it on your own.
Right. Sometimes I
Okay.
do, but it's not too often. But for the most part, it's they take it, and then depending on how well the ad performs,
Yeah.
it could, TikTok is the one that manages all of that, and they pay me based off of that. So like, for example,
So do they pay you based off of views, or they just pay you based off of what you make?
views, conversions, and clicks. So there's a
Okay.
whole lot of factors in it. So like, for example, I had an ad, like it was a 30-second video
Yeah.
that I made for Bose, the speaker company.
Oh yeah.
And they've been my biggest one so far to date, but that one got over 1 million views. They pushed it hard because they really liked it.
Hey.
And it got like, it's like 30,000 clicks and like 15,000 conversions, which means that they sold 15,000 products of whatever.
Oh wow.
And so they really liked it. And so for 30 seconds of my time there, TikTok, I mean, it's still earning money.
Yeah, it's
on
still
a
earning,
daily
yeah.
on it, because the way they do it is I'm part of this like special creator program.
Okay.
And that one, if you make like $1,000 within 30 days, TikTok doubles whatever you make. So even if you go over $1,000, so
Oh wow.
so if it makes like $2,000, TikTok will double that, and in total I'll get paid $4,000 for one ad.
Dang.
So that's been my most successful one, but that's my main income. And then the other one is just making my own content and monetizing that.
Okay.
On Instagram, Facebook, TikTok as well. But yeah, I mean, I never would have thought that I would be doing this for a living.
Yeah.
But it's been a real blessing, 'cause
Yeah.
it's allowed me to be present for my family in the ways that they need me, because my wife travels for work a lot.
Okay.
And so I'm able to I work for myself, which is great. I work on my own schedule, and I enjoy doing it because it's just making content, making
content.
And it's been great because it's yeah. I came from, first I started in finance. I worked on Wall Street right out of college. Realized quickly that wasn't for me, but I stuck it out for like 2.5 years.
Oh dang, dude.
And then I moved back to Texas. So I moved out of state, moved back to Texas. I literally moved to San Antonio without a job lined up.
Oh, wow.
Because something in my gut told me you belong in San Antonio.
Yeah.
And so I said, you know what? I'm gonna go. I don't know what I'm gonna do. Figure it out when I get there. I found just the first job that I could find, and ever since then, just been moving up. And then from there, I made a switch from finance into tech, and I actually started working as a web developer, and that was all self-taught. You know, I didn't go to school for that.
Yeah, you didn't go to school.
But there was a local company, Sweb Development, that gave me my first shot. And ever since then, I was working in web development. And then the pandemic hit, everything went remote. And then I found another web development job with an agency out of New York, worked for them for a few years. In the meantime, I'm growing this social media presence in the background. Dude. And then it'll be a year in next month that I'll have been on my own for a whole year.
Nice, dude.
And I never would have thought, because this is not my first time trying to work for myself, but so far I don't know how, but I managed to survive a year. I'm sure I have a lot more wrinkles now than I did last year. Yeah. But you know, it's been a journey. It's been an adventure. But at the same time, it's been what's allowed me to provide for my family, not just financially, but also in a way to where I can be the best father I could be.
That's good, man. That's good. Well, those of you that are listening in, welcome back. This is episode number 60, right? And today you just started hearing Jorge Mata. He goes by Jorge Mata, but on Instagram it's official.
Viva Texas.
Viva Texas official. And so if you guys can tell right now, he's wearing his Brahmas, right? We're going to get into that right now. But if you heard, he's a social media influencer. This is what he's doing full time, as well as your wife, correct? Does she do that, or she does?
No, she works in the medical field.
In the medical field, okay.
And so that's what's got her traveling a lot.
Okay.
My wife, she's super smart. A lot smarter than me in that sense. She's a sonographer.
Oh, wow.
But she works for a medical device company that does like carpal tunnel surgery. And they have a device that, like, you know, with carpal tunnel, they have to slice you open. And and all that. And it's like 2 months recovery. Well, with her device, it's they brought it down to where the recovery is only like 5 days.
Oh, wow.
And so she always tells me to use that explanation, because if I were to condense it, it's like she trains surgeons how to do surgery.
Oh, okay.
And then everyone's like, so is she a surgeon or a doctor? And she's like, no. And they're like, but then how do you train surgeons? And it's like, well, and then she goes into that whole explanation I just gave.
She's got to get into it, yeah. But man, thank you for being here, man. I know it's been quite some time. I wanted to bring you on. I know I shot you a message. I said, man, hopefully he'll answer, because, man, I see you're busy. You're very, very, very busy. Everything I see, you're posting all the time. With the Brahmas, or you're doing your own thing or whatnot. But thank you for being here. Thank you guys for listening in today. This is episode number 60. Today's a Father's Day special, so shout out to all the fathers that are out there. By the time you're listening to this is Father's Day. So thank you guys for tuning in. You can listen on Spotify, Apple Podcasts, iHeartRadio Podcasts, and as well as YouTube. You want to head on over to YouTube. You want to subscribe to the local podcast, hit the little campanita, and please do subscribe. There is a papi chulo that the Lord has blessed us with, which is me. So go ahead and subscribe. So go ahead and subscribe. Please hit the campanita. I appreciate all the love and the support that you guys have given. But dude, so I want to get into the Brahmas, because every time I see you, right? If you can't tell, right, I have stickers here that say Papi Chulo on mine, and then on yours it says Vaquero Papi on there. So I don't know how did this whole thing happen, right? Because the Brahmas came to San Antonio. The XFL used to be called the XFL. Now it's the UFL. Dwayne The Rock Johnson, right? Shout out to him, The Rock. And what's her name? Garcia, right? Danny Garcia. Which you just posted a picture with her.
Yeah, that was the first time I got to meet her last weekend in St. Louis when I was up there. So this season has been one that has been honestly life-changing for me, because I have gone to every single Brahmas game, home and away, except for one. And the one that I couldn't go to is because I was on a cruise and on vacation with my family. And it's funny because I've been to Arlington, to Memphis, to St. Louis. This week will be the third week in a row that I go to St. Louis. But the one I couldn't go to was the closest one, Houston.
Oh, Houston.
I was like, how does that happen?
Dang, dude. So, I mean, how did this even spark? Like, did you show up to a game one day, or did they invite you, or did someone invite you and they saw you and then they said, let's work together? Or how did that work?
It all started with content creation. So, when they announced the team, it was just XFL San Antonio. They didn't have a team name yet. And I was like, well, I could get behind this. You know, I don't know if it's going to last. You know, who knows if it's going to be like another Commander situation.
Yeah, exactly,
you know? And that broke everybody. It broke my heart, too, because I love going to those games. But I was like, you know what? I have a feeling this is going to work. You know, the Rock's talking a big game about it.
Yeah.
And I have a feeling it's going to work. And so I said, you know what? I'm going to plant my flag early. And it was like September of 2022. And I knew that year was also the World Cup. And for me, El Mundial es todo.
Oh, yeah, dude.
And so I knew, like, and then since they moved it to November, December, I knew as soon as the World Cup starts, NFL, se acabó. I don't care about football anymore.
Yeah.
I'm all World Cup. That's it. And so I watched football up until then, but I had been talking about XFL San Antonio, and then like, okay, they're the Brahmas now, and I was like, I'm behind the Brahmas. I want to be a Brahma and Brahmas, and I was the only one talking about it, and a lot of people were laughing at me because they were like, this team isn't gonna last. You're wasting your time, and then the season starts, it's about to start. And I had decided, and I actually got this idea from a super fan of the Green Bay Packers, who's my favorite NFL team, who's from Corpus. And he dresses up as a mariachi.
Oh, okay.
Señor Cheesehead. And he goes to I wish I had the kind of money to go up to Green Bay all the time, but I don't.
Yeah.
I can afford to go to the Alamo Dome.
Yeah, the Alamo Dome, yeah.
So I took a lot of inspiration from him. I'm like, man, he's out there spreading la cultura his way, and he's got a custom-made traje, and, you know, he gave a sombrero to one of the players.
Nice.
And it just kind of blew up. It went viral for him. And so I was like, why don't we, like, if I'm going to be here in San Antonio, why don't I do something similar? And I have a lot of tios and cousins, because I grew up in the Valley. So a lot of tios and cousins down in Brownsville.
In Brownsville, baby.
And they participate in charro days. And
that's cool, dude.
They're charros. They raise horses and all that stuff.
Have you participated with them before in that, or no?
No. I haven't participated with them. Before, but they had charro suits, and so first I told my dad, I was like, I think I wanna go as a charro or a mariachi to these games, and he thought the idea was ridiculous. He was like, "Mijo, you're wasting your time and your money." I was like, but can you ask Theo if I could borrow one of his trajes so I could just try it on to see what size to get?
Yeah, what size to get, yeah.
And so he's like, okay, whatever. So I went down for Christmas, and he let me borrow. He's like, here's a traje, try it on. And I was like, okay, I know what size to get. And I ordered the first black and gold one I could find, because I knew the team was going to be like black and yellow.
Yeah.
So I was like, this is the closest thing. Whatever, I'll do it. And it came with a sombrero. It was like a whole like.
Oh, it was the whole one package there. Yeah. 3-in-1.
And so I started making videos wearing the traje before the season started.
Yeah.
And there was one where I did a grito. Where our first game was against St. Louis, and so I was like, they don't know what's coming for them, and I did a grito on camera, and I dubbed it over with something like norteño music, La Única Estrella, that song, and the people from the front office for the Brahmas and for the XFL, they caught on to it. They saw it. And that video, it went viral within like that little community.
Oh, wow, dude.
And that video made it all the way up. They told me even The Rock saw it. Danny Garcia saw it. Like, people in charge of the league saw it. And they're like, this guy, we got to keep an eye on this guy.
Yeah, keep an eye on him, yeah.
And I had bought season tickets, and I went dressed up every game, and every week I would make a video throwing jabs at the other teams.
Nice.
And just representing San Antonio, best that I could. And then I really credit the XFL for kind of giving me a rocket strapped to my back, because it gave me a platform to really grow a persona and grow a community. And then from there, just kind of expand on that. Because my original content was all about Texas, like culture, Texas humor, stuff like that. And that only took me so far. But then I realized, Texas isn't just cowboys and yeehaw and rodeos and all that. There's more to it. My Texas, which is South Texas, the charreria, the tacos, the Hispanic side of it that a lot of people don't know or a lot of people aren't familiar with. And so I wanted to show more of that. So I started branching out into more of that. And then my niche started to change a little bit, and I started seeing that. And then everyone latched onto the mariachi persona.
Oh, nice.
And then it just kind of grew from there with the Brahmas. And so they started using me for a lot of marketing promotions and stuff like that. Now, I do just want to say, like, I'm not an employee or like officially affiliated with them.
Yeah, that's what I was gonna ask, but you're not officially.
No, I am not in any way, shape, or form official.
Because I thought like, okay, this guy is already ya tiene un contrato, ya tiene todo, ya se está firmado, ya.
Nothing. No, everything that I have done, all the traveling has been all out of pocket.
Okay,
and it's all part. I mean, yes, part of it is to be able to grow my presence and to grow my brand, but it's also, I do it because I love it. I love the sport. I used to play football, when I was younger, and I remember getting recruited by colleges, and so many colleges said Mexicans don't play football. Mexicans, this is the wrong kind of football.
Yeah, the wrong kind of football. Yeah.
And I heard that a lot, and so I wanted to change the narrative. And so I wanted to show the culture, our culture, and make it to where it's a normal thing in football. And I found that the best avenue to do that was through the XFL. And then now the UFL, it blew up even more.
Yeah, it did.
And this season, traveling to all the different markets and going in a full charro suit, there's places that have never seen a mariachi. Washington, D.C., Memphis, Tennessee, Arlington, they're familiar with it.
They know.
But the places out of state, they were like,
they're not familiar with that.
They would see the sombrero and they're like, that is like the fanciest sombrero I've ever. But they're used to like the spring break.
The spring break,
ones.
yeah.
And so it was just something that was different. It was fascinating. Like, it stood out. And the TV cameras also noticed that. And so they would always put me on TV. So then now I'm getting TV exposure on top of my social media exposure. And it's just growing and growing. And so a lot of people have told me that when they think of the Brahmas, they think of me because of all the social media stuff that I do around it as the mariachi.
Yeah.
And to me, that's humbling, and people look for the content.
Oh, yeah, they do.
And people see it. And the fact that I accomplished my goal of showing that our culture does have a spot in the sport. You know, despite what everyone else would have thought, despite what everyone else thinks, we bring the sabor.
Oh yeah, yeah, and there's no mistake about that, man. And you're correct on that. Like every time I think about the Brahma or something comes with the Brahmas, like you come to mind. But it's just the marketing, the amount of times that you've posted, the amount of games that you've been to. It goes into effect, right? And people can see that. So kudos to you, man. I honestly thought ya estabas empleado con los Brahmas, bro. I honestly thought like. And then right now you walked in, I was like, ay, ya está empleado, mira, está dentro de los Brahmas, bro. No, there's no doubt. I thought for sure, I was like, he's got to be. He came in the whole get up, man. But man, that's cool. That's huge, man. Especially right now, since like you said, they just transitioned from XFL now to UFL.
Right.
It's gonna get even bigger than what it was before. But then also too, like I don't know if you know, right? But there's chisme going around right now that San Antonio put a bid for the Chiefs. Yeah. I don't know if you know about that, right? Yeah. So I have a good friend of mine who works for the city, right? I'm not going to mention his name because I don't want to get him in trouble. Yeah. But, you know, we put a pretty good bid to where we learned from our mistake with the Raiders, right? Because we lost that bid, obviously, right? They're in Vegas now. But how would you feel if the Chiefs were to be here in San Antonio, and would you call them the Cincinnati San Antonio Chiefs, or would you come up with a different name?
I would want to come up with a different name because the Chiefs were originally the Dallas Texans.
Yes,
back in the day. Mm-hmm. So obviously we can't use the Texans anymore.
Can't do that no more.
But I would want something that is more representative of the area, you know. And the Chiefs, that belongs to Kansas City.
Oh, yeah, that belongs to them.
And I wouldn't want it to be where, like, what the Tennessee Titans did to Houston, where they're like, well, we're the Oilers, too. And it's like, no, that was Houston. Yeah, that belongs to Houston.
Yeah, that belongs to Houston, yeah.
So I'd want something, I'd want our own identity, you know, if it happens. I mean, would it be great? Absolutely. But I also wouldn't want to lose the Brahmas because there's been so much investment into that, and they don't clash.
No, yeah.
You know, so one's in the spring. So San Antonio would be unique in the sense where it could have almost year round.
Year round, yeah.
Now, do I think that the NFL will come here? Honestly, I don't. I think, you know, there's gonna be higher powers.
Oh yeah,
specifically, a gentleman that resides in Dallas that will not allow for that to happen.
Yeah, he's not gonna allow it. I mean, and don't get me wrong, I love Dallas, right? I love him, right? But the thing is, he sees there's a marketing opportunity for him to lose money.
Oh yeah.
Because a lot of San Antonio are Dallas Cowboys fans, and they're gonna go there and they're gonna take away the money. So I totally agree with you on that. Like that gentleman, Mr. Jerry, is going to be like, nah, let me pay, you know, what I got to pay in order for these guys to make sure that they don't come to San Antonio.
Yeah.
Because he knows, dude. I mean, he knows. He's not dumb.
Because, I mean, I feel like he wouldn't just lose San Antonio. He would lose Laredo, Corpus.
Oh, yeah,
Valley,
dude.
You know, also northern Mexico. Because even with the Brahmas, I see there's a lot of fans that come and cross over to come to the games from Mexico.
Really?
And they've latched onto the Brahmas.
Oh, wow.
Because it's the closest thing.
Oh, yeah.
And it's a lot easier to get to San Antonio than it's to get to Arlington to go watch a Cowboys game. And it's a lot more affordable, too.
Yeah, you ain't lying, dude.
And so that's something that I feel like they would lose. And also, that would also bring an opportunity. The thing is what I would hope that the NFL sees in San Antonio is the opportunity to capture markets like Monterrey.
Oh, yeah.
Even as far down as Mexico City.
Yeah.
But the big one being Monterrey. And that's something that me personally, you know, because I have a Brahmas podcast that I run.
Oh, okay, cool.
So I have 2 of them, actually.
Oh,
one
nice.
One of them in English that I do on Mondays, and that one we've been going on for like both seasons now. We've been.
Oh, nice.
But this season I started an all Spanish podcast.
Oh, wow.
With the goal of being able to target and capture the market all the way to Monterrey. Because I know they already come here on the weekends to go shopping because I see them at La Cantera.
Yeah, they're here. I see them at Ross all the time, you know, in Burlington.
And if they're already here, and I know because I have a lot of family in Monterrey and San Nicolas.
Okay, cool.
And I know that there's a big following for El Tec, but specifically for the football.
For the football, yeah.
And they love the sport. There's a big NFL following there too. And it's like, why can't we capture that and have them come to the Brahmas games?
Yeah.
And have them grow the fan base here and be a part of the fan base. Because if you've never been to a game, it's a very unique experience. From the tailgating all the way to the in-game experience, it's unlike anything that I've ever done. And it's wild because just breaking down the cost, for example, there's I have 3 season tickets.
Okay.
One for me, one for my wife, one for my son. And that costs $750 for all 3 of them.
Mm-hmm.
I've priced out a weekend to go to Green Bay to go watch a Packers game. And there is no way between the flight, a hotel stay, and the game ticket, not counting any food
or whatever else you're gonna get,
or like merchandise, because I know I'm gonna go.
Yeah,
I'm gonna go swipe happy in the merch shop, especially if my wife doesn't go with me.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
There's no way that I can go for less than $1,000 for a 3-day weekend for one game.
For one game, yeah.
And I'm like, that does it makes me not even want to go because I'm like, why would I do that when I can spend less for 5 games for 3 people here in San Antonio, and then still have money left over to go travel to all these other awards.
Yeah, exactly.
And it's allowed me to connect and make friends all over the country because I have friends in Washington, D.C. I have friends in St. Louis. I have friends in Arlington and Houston. And it's a really tight-knit community. And
nice.
It's
that networking, man.
It's the networking.
That's what it is, man. And kudos to you, man, for doing that, because the way this game is now of social media, content creator, and stuff like that, it's not about how much you make. Like, you can make as many videos as you want, right? But it's people like to see like the collaborations. They like to see who you have. And believe me, like you doing that and you picking their brain, I'm pretty sure like you'll pick at their brains or they'll pick at your brains or whatever the case is. So being able to do that. But man, it just makes sense, man. I mean, who's gonna spend $1,000 on the weekend when they can, spend $700 and be able to go 5 games and then be able to still go to away games? Like, you're not wrong on that, right? Because I've been wanting to go to a Dallas Cowboys game, pero no hombre, por favor, ese Jerry.
Yeah, I mean, standing room only.
Golly,
cost me,
dude, I don't know how some people can do that. Like, go to a game and stand there for 2.5 hours. It's like,
no, I did it one time.
No, dude,
it was the very first game I went to, Packers Cowboys, standing room only. Because that was all I could afford.
Yeah.
And I said never again. Because you're in a crowd and you're trying to look over and you end up watching the game on that giant TV screen.
Wait, you were trying to look over?
Yeah. Because there's this big old crowd.
No, hombre. Menos yo te... Mírame a mí, por favor.
Yeah,
Menos a mí. I'll just be there and put on my shoulders, dude.
But I mean, you end up watching the game on the big
Jumbotron. Might as well watch it at home.
Exactly, that's exactly what I said. And then the beers are like $15 and all that for one. I'm like,
everything's expensive, man. Everything. I mean, speaking of which, right? Like, everything's gone up so much, right? This economy is crazy. So to take that into factor now, like, if you really want to go to a game, like, man, you're gonna spend some money. Just sit down to get a hot dog, to get something to drink, popcorn. Fácil, como $400, quick.
Yeah.
Easy. I mean, and that's just on food and getting a shirt and maybe just staying after the game, and then you're getting all the cups that people left behind or whatnot.
And just, I'll wash them.
I'll wash them when I get home. Ahorita lo lavo, pero dude, I don't know. Like, I mean, it makes sense. And kudos to you again for taking that opportunity, because that's a huge opportunity. And right now, I know it might not seem like you're signed, but maybe they will. Like, I don't know, because do they even have a mascot? Like, I've never been to a Brahmas game. I've never been to one.
So there's no mascot. Everyone says that I'm the mascot.
Well, that's what I'm saying. Like, maybe you could be the mascot.
Like, I've been called like the unofficial mascot.
Yeah.
All the time, and I'm like, just make sure it's like you say unofficial. I don't want to get in trouble. I don't want to get sued or nothing. But a lot of people, for the reasons that you said, you think of the Brahmas, you think of, oh, it's that mariachi guy.
Yeah, it's a mariachi guy. Yeah.
And it's like I said, they've given me a huge platform, and like, even though I've invested into the league, and as far as buying tickets and buying merchandise and going to games and stuff, I've made that return on investment work for me in ways that, like, it's given me such a big platform to where I was able to leave my job last year and go into content creation full time. I was very scared when I did it. And there's been months where I'm just like a ver cómo le hago. I mean, I don't know.
Yeah.
But somehow something always comes through. And like recently, for example, this past month or in May, I didn't work for a week, and this was the first month that I decided, because I used to also do like freelancing, and so
okay.
So like social media management for companies and stuff like that.
Okay, cool.
But I realized like I didn't want to do that anymore. There's just a lot of headaches that come with that.
Yeah.
And I just wanted to do content creation. So I said, I'm going to jump all in on content creation. And I made that decision in April. May was going to be my first full month. And I'm like, orale, now I'm taking a week off and I'm starting this transition. And it ended up being the best month financially for me, because I put all of my focus into that.
Oh, nice.
And now this month, I've grown even more from what I've done last month.
Yeah.
And so now it's just got to keep on going and just keep it growing, you know. And when people are saying like, yeah, you can make $5,000, $6,000, $7,000, $10,000 a month doing TikTok. At first, you would have told me that 2 years ago, I'd have been like, yeah, that's never going to be me.
Yeah.
Now that it seems like a real possibility, and I'm just like, oh, wow. But it does come, you know, because it's such a new thing.
Yeah, it is.
It comes with a lot of doubters. It comes with a lot of people saying, well, I mean, I had a lot of doubters. I had a lot of people saying, you're going to fail. You're wasting your time. You're just making little videos. But now those same people are telling me that they're like, man, I saw your video and this and that. And it's even funny because like my mom, like she's still down in the valley. My parents, both of them are still down in the valley.
Okay.
And my dad, he runs his own business. He has for, 20 plus years. He's getting ready to retire. My mom, same thing. And she was actually retired, and then she got bored and went to be a paraprofessional at school. And one time she got called into the office by the principal, and she thought she was in trouble.
Yeah.
And the principal was like, "Is this you?" And my mom was like, "Yeah." And who's that guy? How do you know him? That's my son. She's like, "No, you're kidding. That's your son? I follow him. I watch all his stuff." And then like she would like see my mom in the hallway.
Yeah.
Look, he made another video.
Oh my God.
I'm just like, oh my God. And my mom, she would tell me these things, and she was just like, ay, mijito. Like, and because I mean, I do a lot of things.
Oh yeah.
And a lot of things like I don't care how, like that's the one thing that I love about it, is that you grow to not care what other people think anymore. Dude. And so there's a lot of things that I do on there that people normally would be afraid to do. And my mom just like, ay,
Yeah.
And like there's one that my dad, I people like it when I feature my parents.
Yeah.
And there's a video that I made where I had offered him, there's these snacks that they're chips made with peas, and they're called pitos. And so I'm like, hey, pa, ¿qué son los pitos? And he's like, interpreta mi silencio, güey. I'm like, no, look, it's pitos. That's what it says on the bag right there, you know? And that video blew up. Yeah. And it's just, you know, just having fun with it.
Yeah.
And then I had to make sure that I kind of hid my dad's name on that.
Oh, okay.
There was people commenting, asking, is that? You know, they would say they would put my dad's name in there, and I would have to hide the comment, be like, not respond, because I don't want it to affect him. Oh, okay. But then he started telling me, he's like, son, there's people telling me that I'm on TikTok.
Yeah.
I don't even have a TikTok. How am I on TikTok? How am I on TikTok?
Yeah.
And my dad's, he's almost 70 years old. He's like, how am I on TikTok? And I'm like, well, remember that video? Yeah, a lot of people liked it, and a lot of people saw it. And I'm just like, you're kind of famous now.
Sorry, pa.
And he's like, cabrón. But, you know, it's just it's the old school.
Yeah, it is,
old school Mexican dad.
It is, man.
But now that I'm a dad and I'm grown, I'm like, it's my turn to get, you know.
Yeah, there you go.
All the times you would put me through stuff as a kid. Now, te toca a ti.
Oh, man, that's crazy, dude. All right, man. Well, we're going to go into this quick commercial break real quick, and we'll be right back. So, guys, stay tuned. Right after the short commercial break, we're going to get into some dad stuff, and we're going to continue to find out more, right, about El Mariachi Loco, right, if you want to say that. So, guys, stay tuned. We'll be right back right after this short commercial break.
What's up, San Antonio? Are you needing to get your bookkeeping and your tax services done? Then head on over to JD & Associates LLC Bookkeeping and Tax Services. You can find JD & Associates LLC Bookkeeping and Tax Services on Facebook and on Instagram. So now, it's tax season, baby. So make sure that you head on over to JD & Associates LLC Bookkeeping and Tax Services. Don't head on over to La Vecina, who's only got one eye, y la pata chueca, and she can't even remember her own name. She's gonna remember your name to do your taxes. So guys, please head on over to JD & Associates LLC Bookkeeping and Tax Services. They are located at 4702 West Avenue, number 8, San Antonio, Texas, zip code 78213. You can call them up at 210-816-0357. Again, JD & Associates LLC Bookkeeping and Tax Services, an official sponsor for Del Loco Podcast.
I just finished going to his stand-up that he had the other day.
Oh, yeah.
At what was it? Our Lady of the Lake.
Yeah.
So it was good. It was really good. So we're gonna get into some dad stuff here. I know that you're a dad, so we're gonna get into that right now. So we got some Father's Day jokes, if you want to say, right?
Yeah, okay.
Father's Day jokes. So let me open them up right here real quick. So it says, I put out a link, so I had some people respond. So thank you guys for those that responded and put these in. Of course, your name's not going to be mentioned, right? Because the way I had it formatted, your name doesn't come out. So we'll go from there. So it says, what do you call a song about a tortilla?
Oh, man.
What do you call a song about a tortilla? Tortilla.
Delicioso. I don't know.
It's like the dumbest thing. Like, it's a dad joke. A rap.
Oh, my God. I'm thinking the answer's going to be in Spanish or something.
I know, dude. That's a rap. Okay, perfect. All right, cool. Thank you. Whoever put that in there. All right, that one was good. That one was good. Let me see. Next one, okay. There was one on here. Okay, right here. April showers bring May flowers, but what do May flowers bring? This one confused me. Like, it got me good. So I'm going to repeat it again. So those that are going to listen or they're watching, pay attention. April showers bring May flowers, but what do May flowers bring?
Pilgrims.
Pilgrim.
Yeah,
you got it, dude.
I was like Mayflowers. I was at first I was gonna say lawn mowing, no, but I was like, no, Mayflower. Pilgrims. Yeah.
Yeah, dude. That one got me like really, really, really good. So that's all right now. When I said listen to it, now I read it. The answer, I was like, oh, Pilgrims. Okay, Pilgrims. Okay, perfect. Next one here. Let me see here. We got a bunch, so it's good. Why is it bad to iron a 4-leaf clover? Why is it bad to iron a 4-leaf clover?
Probably something about bad luck or something. I don't know.
Yeah, because it says you should never press your luck.
Oh,
you should never press your luck. Never press your luck. All right, cool. All right, so it says right here, where do you learn? This one's probably pretty simple. Where do you learn to make a banana split? Where do you learn how to make a banana split? Where do you learn?
I'm gonna say by watching the gorillas at the zoo. I don't know.
Sunday school.
Oh,
Sunday school. All right, so let me see here. Where's the other one? Okay, right here. Why did the birds? What is it? Oh, yeah. Why did the birds attack the dog? Why did the birds attack the dogs? This one was weird too when I listened to it and then I read it and I was like, oh my God, okay.
I don't know.
Little dad joke by Bucky.
I don't know.
Because he was pure breed. Meaning the way if you write it the way it's written and you read it the first time, it's bred. Pure bread.
Oh, pure bread. Okay. Okay, I get it now.
I didn't get it at first, and then I started reading it. I was like, "Oh, okay, I get." Okay,
that's all.
They put like parentheses on the word bread, and I was like, "You mean breed?" And then I read it. I was like, "Oh, bread."
Oh yeah,
yeah. Bread. Okay, cool. So next one here is what's it called? What's it called when a snowman throws a tantrum? What's it called when a snowman throws a tantrum?
Well, see, I hate snow, so I hope as long as the snowman melts and the sun comes out, I don't care.
Right. Literally, a meltdown.
A meltdown.
A meltdown when he gets mad. A meltdown. All right, last one right here. What cars do sheep drive? What sheep? What cars do sheep drive?
Jeeps? No.
What cars do sheep drive? Right? Yeah, sheep drive.
I don't know. I said Jeeps because it rhymes with sheep, but I'm
Lamborghinis. Lamb.
Oh,
lamb.
I'm like, what? Oh, okay.
Yeah. There you go. Lamborghinis. Thank you guys for sending those. I was hoping we could get one or two of embarrassing moments with dad, because I put a link out there for people to put what was an embarrassing moment that you had with your dad. But since nobody put one, we're going to share ours if we have one. You being my guest, you can go first. if you got an embarrassing moment with your dad. If there's one like that, maybe he embarrassed you in a way to where you're like, God, man, it's the guy, man, or
me with my dad.
You with your dad, yeah. Okay. Is there like ever been a moment where you're like you got embarrassed, like it's an embarrassing moment for you and that your dad embarrassed you, if you want to say?
So I can't think of. I mean, the thing is that the moments, it was more so my older brother.
Oh, your older brother.
When he was little, and this is even before I was born, but it's a story that my parents always tell me, and he embarrassed my dad, not my dad embarrassing.
Oh,
him.
really?
Yeah. So my brother was little, and they were at Kmart, and they were there shopping or whatever, and that there was this man in the aisle that they were in, and the man just farted like something fierce, right? Apparently. And my brother smelled it, and he goes to my dad out loud, "Ew, Daddy, why did you fart? It stinks." And my dad was just like, "¿Qué? Yeah, Daddy, you farted. It smells." Like out loud, like super loud. Everyone's hearing. And there's like multiple people there, and my mom said that my dad's face just turned super red, like, oh,
dude.
And my mom's just like, okay, try not to laugh. And my brother's maybe like 3 or 4 years old. I'm just a little baby at the time, and he's like, "No, I didn't do it," and "No, Daddy, you farted, you farted,
Dad."
And that was. I think for the one story that always comes to mind when I think of embarrassing moments between, because the thing is that like I don't have a lot. I don't get embarrassed a lot. It takes a lot for me to feel embarrassed.
Yeah. But
there's a lot of things I'm sure that I did where my dad was just like,
yeah.
Well. Yeah, I mean there is one. When I was in 7th grade, I embarrassed both of my parents, but it was a breakfast with the school board.
Oh man!
And so all the school board members were there, and I'm in 7th grade, and I thought I was a little rebel.
Oh God!
And I had a T-shirt that I bought that said honor roll student, but like it was all misspelled and the letters were all backwards.
Yeah.
And all the other, they only invited like the top 10% students or whatever. And I mean, I did good in school.
Yeah.
But I was also like, I didn't like school. You know, I did school because I had to, not because I wanted to.
Not that you wanted to, yeah.
And so we go to this breakfast with the school board, and I'm just there eating, and I don't care who the school board is. I'm 12, 13 years old.
Yeah.
And everyone else is there is dressed, in slacks and button ups. And I'll tell you right now, I hate wearing slacks. I hate wearing shirts with buttons on them.
Oh man.
And to this day, I didn't even wear a tuxedo to my own wedding. I wore a guayabera. My dad dressed, for work and business. My mom too. And then the school board members come in their suits and their nice dresses, and they're like, "Oh, nice to meet you. What's your name?" I'm like, "I'm Jorge. What's up?" And my parents are like, "Hey, don't talk to them like that." I'm like, "Why not? I don't care. They don't even know who I am. Why should I care?"
Yeah.
And they were just like, "Oh, I cannot believe of all the kids." And it's funny that you have this belt here, because when it was a banquet when I was finishing middle school, going into high school, 8th grade banquet, I was like ranked number 3 in my class. And they were going through the top. It was only for the top 10 students.
Oh, okay.
And everyone was like, "I want to be an architect. I want to be a lawyer. I want to be an engineer." They get to me, WWE wrestler or NFL football player. And like everyone's there sitting with like professional pictures and stuff. And they put me in a picture. I'm sitting on a bench wearing a John Cena t-shirt. Like this, like that. And I'm just like, and my parents are like, "Really, mijo? Really?" And I'm like, "That's what I want to be."
So I want to be when I grow up. I want to be a wrestler. I want to be John Cena, baby.
And then, full circle moment. A few weeks ago, thanks to the Brahmas,
we
had a pep rally for for the community where we had some of the players go down to El Camino.
Oh, okay.
And we had Calisto, the luchador.
Luchador, yeah.
He was here.
Oh, nice.
And we had talked about this whole skit. You know, I was there dressed in my charro suit, which was a mistake in 100-degree weather because it's 100% wool. Dude. It's all black. I was dehydrating bad.
Oh, man.
But the skit was and this was to buy time because the players were going to be late.
Oh, they're going to be late.
But I ended up taking 2 chair shots from him. And they caught it on camera and everything.
Really?
The first one was planned. The second one was not.
Oh, and I'll tell dang.
You, when it's planned and you do it, he's a professional.
Yeah.
I took it. Did it hurt a little bit? Yeah.
Yeah, it's going to hurt.
The second one, when I didn't expect it, su madre. I was like, ay. Pretty much. And then everyone was like, are you okay?
You right, buddy?
I saw your face on the second one. It looked like it hurt. And I was like, yeah, it hurt.
It hurt, buddy.
It hurt. Yeah. Yeah. I was sore the next day. But I called my mom. I was like, Mom, guess what I just did? She's like, what? I was like, I took a chair shot from a professional wrestler from WWE. And she's like, no me eches mentiras. What do you mean? And I showed her the video. She's like, ay, mijito. And I was like, I told you I was going to do it one day.
I'm going to do it one day. I'm wrestling. It's not John Cena, but
right.
We're there, Mom. Okay,
yeah.
We're there. Yeah, man. Dude. I mean, still to this day, Travieso kid, dude. I've always been Travieso, man. Yeah. But I grew up in the church. I still go to church now. I grew up there all my life. And my dad's going to probably not, he's going to say he doesn't remember, right? Because I don't remember doing that. Yeah, okay. Yeah, all right. But there was a time where, because my dad's he's a bass player. I'm a drummer as well, right? But at the time, I was a kid. And he was playing bass at the time. And me being Travieso, running around. Bear in mind, church is going on, right? So you know those mocosos, right, that are running around. I was one of those mocosos running around, right, making noise and all that. Well, during that time, I was doing that, and while he's playing, he's looking at me, right? You get that, you know, that dad stare, right? Like,
oh yeah,
you better fix it, or you're gonna get it once I'm done, you know. And I was like, hombre, he's not gonna do anything, whatever the case is. Well, it got to the point to where I saw him take his strap off. He put the bass down, went all the way down there, got me right by my ear where I was running at. Boom! Straight to the restroom. Once I come back, está todo llorando. I'm here, lágrimas, mocos coming out. He gets back up there like nothing. And man, I was so embarrassed because I was like, he's not going to do anything. But then once I felt that ear pull, vámonos. Vente pa acá. Oh, man. I think that, golly, like, I don't know, right? We all think like, nah, I ain't going to do anything. But once it does happen, it's like, oh, man. For me, that was like, man, that was embarrassing. Like, it was embarrassing. That was the most embarrassing compared to the ones where, like, me and my brothers would be in the neighborhood just messing around and wouldn't listen to him or whatnot. We used to have this little silver little car. And remember one day we weren't listening. We weren't doing anything. And my grandpa we used to go to the Pulga right there at the Mission. And he used to buy us those plastic swords. Oh, yeah. Right? Those plastic ones. Well, we were playing out there. I'm the oldest out of 4 of us, right? And I was hitting my brothers. Hitting them. And I don't remember the only thing I remember is the after effect, right? Because I don't know if I remember if I talked back to my dad or whatnot. And then I just took off running. And I said, no, he's not going to catch me. He got in the car.
Orale.
Okay. And my dad, you know, they call him the Hulk. He's a big dude. He's in the car. He's got the sword in his hand. And he smacks me right in the legs. And he picks me up from the shirt. So now he's got me with one arm like that outside of the car. Brings me around all the way to the house. And man, I got the whooping of my life. The whooping of my life. And the neighbors were outside. And it's like, man, I know the neighbors are like, we're going to start praying right now because because we know what's gonna happen inside. But dude, honestly, those moments, like I don't forget them, right? I know dads, we're not gonna forget them. We're not gonna do anything, right? But the thing is, it's true, right? What they say is like, okay, you're gonna reap what you sow when you get older and you have your kids and whatnot.
Oh yeah.
So like right now, I have my little girl, right, Camila, right? Who by the way, thank you, mom. She made me this bracelet, so that's why I have it on. She made it for me. It says who knows what, right? She put all the letters in whichever way. But man, I've had some situations where she's embarrassed me, man, in the store, and it's like, man, dude, like I'm here's one, right? I can't really say the other ones, right? But there was one where we were at HEB and there was a lady, let's just say she was a little bit more blessed than others, right?
Yeah.
And, you know, Camila was in the basket and I have some stuff. And usually we're together all the time. My wife, when she works on the weekends, and then, you know, she'll come home and then we'll go do what we're going to do. But usually in the mornings, we're there at the store, we're doing what we're doing. And this lady was in front of us, right? I mean, it's a bigger lady, right? I'm not going to lie to you. It was a bigger lady. Well, right now my daughter's at the age... She's 5, and I'm going to say what I want. Like, I'm going to be pretty blunt. Like, there's no way around it, right? So I'm there putting the stuff up, putting it on there for them to scan it and whatnot. And I'm looking at my daughter, and she just looks at me. She goes, man, Daddy. I said, what? And she goes, Papi, this lady right here, man, she stinks. I said, what? And she goes, that lady, she stinks. She hasn't taken a shower. And I said... And the lady just like she wanted to turn around. I was like, man, Camila, please, like don't do that. Like don't do that. Don't do that. And it's the little things, right?
Yeah.
Like that. Like my parents got to experience it, right? There was a gentleman who goes to our church and he's blind. Like he's blind. Like he cannot see. And she's a little kid and she doesn't know. And my parents were telling me this while I was serving. I was playing there, and she comes and she out loud, she says, I don't think that guy can see right. I'm not sure. And it's like, I'm like, bro.
Oh, man.
But it's true, dude. I remember my parents used to tell me, vas a ver. You get older, you get married, and you have it, vas a ver. It's gonna be 2 times worse. Y vas a ver cómo te va. A ver cómo te... I don't know if you've had that same situation with your son. Or where because right now my daughter's at the age where she's gonna say it and what? Well, there's nothing. What? I'm not lying. It's like yeah, no, you're not lying, Mama, but you don't do that right now.
So my son, he won't say things that are embarrassing, but he'll do things where I'm like, don't do that. So, right, for a while, what he was doing was taking off all of his clothes.
Oh God.
And instead of going to pee in the toilet, he would go outside and pee off of the balcony steps. And the thing is that, so in my house where, you know, it's an old house on pier and beam. And so you have steps to go down to the floor level. But when you're up on the deck, you're up above the fence line, so people can see in. And so he would run outside and pee off of the deck in public like that. And sometimes he just for a little bit, he also wanted to just take his clothes off in HEB or in public.
Yeah.
And I'm just like, you cannot do that. You cannot do that, mijo. Like, why not, Daddy? I'm hot.
I'm hot right now.
Yeah, it's like, don't take your clothes off. You know, and I'm just like,
can't do that, mijo. What are you doing?
And the thing is that, like, you know, my son, he has a whole story behind him because my wife and I adopted him out of the foster care.
Oh, okay.
And so he's getting to the age now where he's getting his own little personality. Now, he's taking a lot from us.
Oh, okay.
But there's certain genetic things that, you know.
Oh, yeah.
They're just there.
They're just there. Yeah, that's it.
And, it's just his little personality. He just turned 4 in February. And it's funny because he's been with us since he was 3 months old.
Oh, wow.
And I mean, his whole story on how he got to us in the first place is a wild story.
Man, dude.
He's the best thing that ever happened to me. But híjole, I look at myself before fatherhood.
Yeah.
I look at pictures and I look at pictures now, and I'm like, wow, 4 years and I look tired and I like all my face all arrugado and everything, and I'm just like, and my wife, she was like, ooh, you're getting grays, and I'm like, good, that way people take me more seriously.
Right.
They'll make it look like I'm experienced.
Exactly. Make it look like you're more experienced, dude. Dang, dude. Nah, that's cool, man. I didn't know that. That's awesome, bro.
Yeah.
That really, really is. And shout out to you and your wife. Congratulations on y'all's anniversary. I saw that the other day.
We just had 6 years.
6 years, man.
6 years. It's flown by. It seems like just yesterday.
Crazy.
And you know, my son said something to me the other day when we were. I picked him up because he still goes to summer school.
Okay.
So my son is autistic.
Okay.
And so he goes to like this special academy.
Okay.
That helps him. We're trying to get him prepared for like regular school.
Regular school, yeah.
But he needs a little bit of extra help.
Okay.
And so we're trying to, you know, make sure he's getting that help now, so that when he goes to school, he knows how to deal with situations.
Yeah, he knows how to deal with it. Yeah.
And so I picked him up from school on Friday, and right across the street from his school is an H-E-B. And so I went to go buy flowers and some groceries and stuff, and he was like, "Daddy, why are you buying flowers for mommy?" And I said, "Son, 6 years ago, me and your mommy got married, and because we got married, we were able to have you, and that's why you're our son. And because if we didn't get married, I don't know, we wouldn't have had you." And he just stops, and because he's sitting in the little carrito there in H-E-B, and he puts his hand out on me. He's like, "So you always wanted me?" And I was like, "What? Of course!" Like,
yeah.
I'm like, I've thought about you since before you were born,
man.
Before I even knew you. I always knew I wanted to be a dad.
Yeah.
And I got lucky that you were my son.
Yeah.
And that for me, like, I almost broke, like, I almost started crying there in H-E-B, because I'm like, he's like, "You always wanted me." I'm like, "I'm always gonna want you, son."
Yeah.
Like, that's never gonna change. And I mean, even though he's adopted and stuff, like, at this point, he's been with us. All he knows is us. He's my blood, you know? Like, man. Like, it doesn't even matter. And sometimes I like to mess with people and be like, "Who do you think he looks more like?"
Yeah.
Me or my wife. And they'll be like, "Well, I can see a little bit of him, a little bit of your wife." And I'm like, "But he's actually adopted, though." And they're like, so, like, I'll mess with people that way sometimes. And it's funny because, I mean, he's güerito, you know, and so he could pass off more as like my wife's son.
Yeah.
But me having darker skin and all that, like, he doesn't look anything like me. And some people try to say, "Oh, I could see a little bit of you in him." I'm like, no. But he has been picking up a lot of my habits and stuff, because with my wife's job, she travels a lot. So it's me and him a lot. And so when I'm taking him to school, like, I'm not going to listen to no Kids Bop or nothing like that.
Yeah.
I put on Grupo Frontera, Grupo Firme, Bobby Pulido, or, you know, we're listening to Norteño, Tejano, all that stuff. And now if you go up to my son and you say, "Y esto es," he'll respond immediately, "Grupo Frontera." And I'm like, "A huevo."
That's cool though, dude. That really is cool. I mean, and to be honest, man, sometimes we need that reminder, right? Of sometimes, like right now, you were talking about that you wanted to like break down at HEB and whatnot, and sometimes I think we as dads, we take for granted like the blessing that God has given us to be called dads, right?
Oh, yeah.
Because some of us are more fathers, right, than dads, right? Because anybody can be a dad,
right?
But it takes a real man to be a father, a provider, and whatnot. So, I mean, it sometimes it's a good reminder for us, right, to reflect, like, okay, this is why I do what I do. This is for them, right? And then they're your fruits, right? Like meet the parents. The fruit of your loins, right? The fruit of your loins. But dude, honestly, man, I've had those moments too with my daughter, right? Because my daughter was premature. She was a premature baby, right? She was a preemie. So that was the very first time where she had to stay in the hospital for a week and whatnot, right? And it felt like my heart was torn into pieces. Like I had heard so many people before, like, wait until you have your son or your daughter and you're gonna feel this love like never before.
Yeah.
Never before. And I was like,
can't even explain it.
Por favor. And they're like, bro, we can't explain it. Like, well, I can't. I'm like, well, how does it feel? They're like, we can't tell you because my son is not your son or my daughter's not your daughter. Like, when you have your daughter or your son, you're going to find out. Like, vas a ver. Yeah. I remember when she was born, man, I felt that. Like, I felt like, especially seeing her going through the pain that she was going through and then she had to stay, like, my heart was torn into pieces. Like, but now to see her now fully grown and she's like just as necia as her dad and whatnot, like it brings me so much joy, right, to have the opportunity to say that I can be her dad, right? But yeah, dude, that's super cool, man. That your son is like adapting y'all's habits, right? But at the same token, like he hasn't once asked like or questioned you guys are his parents, like not one bit, which is good, man, which is really good.
And that's one thing that I'm since day one, I've been preparing for.
Yeah, man.
For the day. Now, I already know when hormones comes and like when he hits puberty.
Yeah.
You're not even my real dad and this and that. I'm like, okay.
You're not my dad. Yeah.
And I already expected that. And so when it happens, I'm just gonna laugh. I'm be like, okay. Whatever, dude.
Yeah.
But the one that does that I still am not ready for it, but when the date comes, I want to be ready for it is when, or if he ever asks, can I go find my biological parents? Now, for his biological mother, there's ways that I can find her now. She's doesn't live in this state. She's not in a good place. So I don't even know if she'll still be alive.
Yeah.
When he's of age.
Of age, yeah.
And his dad, unfortunately, I know 3 things about the guy. I can't help him there because that's when you adopt a child from the foster care system, they give you the entire record of everything that they got from him when he was in the foster care system. So we have all of that. And there's 3 things that I know about the biological dad. His name, that he was a male, obviously, and that he was in prison. And the name is a very generic name. And I'm like, son, I can't help you find him. I'm sorry. Because like I can give you what I know. But what I know is that's it.
That's it, yeah. That's all I can give you, yeah.
Good luck trying to find that, you know? Yeah. It's like looking for almost like a John Smith.
Yeah, pretty much.
But the Hispanic version.
Yeah.
In the prison records. And I'm like, good luck, buddy.
Yeah, good luck doing that.
But that's what I'm waiting for but I want him, when he asks me, or if he ever does ask, I don't ever want him to feel like he has to do it by himself. I want him to say, can you come with me?
Come with me, yeah.
Because, we are putting money aside for him every month.
Okay.
And putting into a savings account that's getting interest. We have a life insurance policy for him that we took out that by the time he's 22, he'll have $250,000 of life insurance that he'll never have to pay into because we'll have paid everything up. It's one of those that you only pay for 20 years. And he'll have it for the rest of his life, and he'll never have to pay for life insurance ever again. So that way, his family, should he decide to have one, will be prepared and just continue that generational wealth. And started since he was 2 years old, or we adopted him. Yeah, he was 2 years old. That was something that I wanted to make sure that we set him up for success in ways that I could only dream of.
Yeah, exactly. Man.
Because my parents, they worked hard. My entire family, immigrants from Mexico.
Yeah.
And they started from nothing here, and they busted their butts to give us everything they can. And I am very proud to say that my parents put all 3 kids, me, my brother and sister, through school, through college. Obviously we got help with scholarships and stuff, but we all finished, and we're all living successful lives now on our own. They did their jobs. They did what they needed to do as parents, and I can only hope that I can do what they did and make sure that I grow and do more if I can.
Yeah, if you can,
to set him up and make it to where he had it better than I did.
Yeah.
Now I don't want to hand it to him on a silver
platter.
Yeah.
Tampoco.
Gotta teach him how to work hard.
Yeah, man.
But at the same time, I want to make sure that he never has to struggle, because there was times even in like college where like I had to learn the hard way.
Yeah.
I didn't know where my next meal was going to come from sometimes. Sometimes I had to eat a can of beans, and that was my meal for the day.
Yeah.
But I don't ever want him to have to go through that extreme, but I do want him to know what it's like to like not have everything handed to you on a silver platter.
Yeah.
And that's the father in me.
Yeah.
Is making sure that he is set up for when it's his time.
Yeah.
And it starts now. I mean,
it starts now. Yeah.
It's setting up those habits, teaching them the right way. And, sometimes I feel like I'm still not good enough. I'm not doing enough, but my parents are like, you're always going to feel never good enough. It's just
every dad, every parent's gonna feel that way, man. And kudos to you to be able to take that step and be able to prepare for your son, right? Yeah. I mean, man, there's a lot of people like, I mean, back in the day, like I was always upset with my dad. Like he's like, look, you're gonna set this money aside, you're gonna do this, you're gonna do that, right? And I was like, man, that's my money. Like, what are you talking about? And I remember one day, man, and to this day, now I'm super grateful that my dad did that, right? He sat me down, told me, look, you need to get a life policy. I don't know if you know what that is. I'm like, no, I don't know what that. Well, you're going to thank me later on. I need you to go ahead and start investing in yourself.
Yeah.
So you learn what it is, because when you get older, I don't know if I'll be able to help you. I don't know if I'm going to be here. Like, I don't know those things. Right. So, life lessons, man. If you want to say, right, like that, I appreciate from my dad, right? That today, like I'm the man that I am, right, because of life lessons, right? I may have been cabezudo. Sometimes I can still be cabezudo, right? Yeah. But I'm super grateful that I have the dad that I have, right? So, sometimes he'll still correct me. He'll tell me like, no, I wouldn't do that, or he gives me his opinion and whatnot. So, super appreciative of that. But guys, it is the month of June, mental health awareness for men. So if you guys are going through anything and whatnot, reach out. There's help everywhere. I know I talk about the spiritual, about you should seek God and find him and he can help you, but there's also physical. There's the lifeline that can help you out, call a friend, whatever you have to do. But, it's mental health, men, you're not alone.
I've had to use that lifeline. I see a therapist, regularly.
Yeah.
I take medication for it.
Yeah.
I think that's something that a lot of people frown upon it.
Yeah.
But I need it.
Yeah, you need it.
And it helps me.
Mm-hmm.
And I notice when I don't take it and when I do take it, there's a difference.
Yeah.
And yeah, I mean, don't be ashamed.
Yeah, don't be ashamed, man. Don't do that.
Especially like with the Hispanic culture where it's like, estás bien.
Yeah, and that's the wrong thing for us to do. Like we're like that. I don't know why we're like that. We never want to seek help. We never want to do that.
No, and the thing is that like I have like this. I've explained it to my wife because I'm like you know, our family's like a totem pole.
Yeah.
As soon as we became parents, I knew that I had to put myself at the bottom of the totem pole.
Mm-hmm.
My needs, my wants, my everything is last.
The last.
I'm the last to eat. If we had only food for two, I don't eat, but my wife and my son will.
Mm-hmm.
You know, that kind of thing. And it took me a little bit to like understand that as a man and as a father, like when you're at the bottom of the totem pole, it's an honorable thing to be there, which sounds it sounds contradictory because you're like, well, you're at the bottom, like,
yeah,
why would you be proud of that?
Yeah.
And it's like, well, the way that I see it is that I'm the foundation that holds up my family.
Mm-hmm.
My wife would not be able to have the career that she has if I wasn't in a position to be able to stay home and support and work from home and start my business and generate the income the way that I do and be able to be there for her and my son. My son wouldn't be able to go to school, you know, or have someone to take him if I wasn't there because my wife travels a lot.
Yeah.
You know? And so if I put that on my shoulders and shoulder that burden, and if I don't do it, if I crumble, if I fail, I'm going to fail every once in a while. But if I just give up, then the whole family crumbles.
Mm-hmm.
You know, and I'm like, I'm not going to be the reason that my family fails.
Yeah.
And so like when people ask me like, yeah, I'm the bottom of the totem pole, but that's where I want to be. That's where I'm going to be for the rest of my life. I'm okay with that. As soon as my son became my son, anything that I do, any accomplishment that I make will not matter anymore. I'll be more proud of the day that, let's say my son starts playing soccer and he scores his first goal.
Oh yeah, man.
Like I'll be more happy to see that than if I were to like have a record month in my business.
Yeah.
None of that will compare to seeing my son succeed or to seeing my wife succeed. My accomplishments are whatever to me.
Yeah, it's always like that. I know my dad used to always say that to us. Like he always would say like, I want you to be better than me.
Yeah.
And I think that's every parent, like that's every dad. That you always want your children to be better than you, be more successful than you. You don't want them to go through the same hurdles and same pain that you went through, but life happens, right? So as such, right? And they're gonna go through their own situations and circumstances, right? That's gonna happen. So, but my brother, thank you, man, for being here. Thank you so very much for taking your time out of your busy schedule, out of the unofficial mascot of the Brahmas. Man, I appreciate you so very much. But guys, happy Father's Day to all the dads out there. If you're a dad, happy Father's Day to you. Dad, happy Father's Day to you, Dad. I love you, Dad. I know I just want to tell you I appreciate you and everything that you've done for me, everything that you have taught me, and everything that you continue to do it and instill in me. So I want to thank you for that. But more than that, guys, this is just a friendly reminder is that if you don't have a dad or whatnot, let's remember those dads that we have lost. You know, I've lost my suegro in 2019, so I know how that feels. So take the time to take a moment to reflect and remember them. But also, too, guys, this is a friendly reminder that if you don't have a father and there's the father above that can be a father to the fatherless. And again, guys, God loves you. Dios te ama. Seek Christ, seek after him, and place him first, and the rest will come. With God, we can do all things. Through Christ, we can do all things who strengthens us, right? So that is my verse that I live by, and I will continue to do that till the day I die. So thank you guys again for tuning in. Thank you, my brother, for being here. I appreciate you so very much.
Thank you for having me.
Yes, sir. Thank you, guys. And we'll see you on the very next episode.
Estás escuchando De Loco Podcast.
Loco Podcast.